Welcome to Traveler's Tales. I am your host, Greg Alonzo. Today I will be your guide through history as we take a look at Houska Castle, the gateway to hell. Moving right along, mythology tells us one thing, while archaeology tells us another. What mysteries lie in Houska Castle? Are there demons dwelling within the castle walls? Folklore considers the castle to be a cover over Hell's gateway. The intent was to trap demons in the myriad of levels, thereby preventing them from reaching the rest of the world. Where then lies this fabled gateway to hell? Houska Castle is a Gothic castle that is located some 47 kilometers, which is roughly 29 miles north of Prague. The castle is in the municipality of Blacy in the Liberec region of the Czech Republic. Houska is one of the best preserved castles of the period. It includes a Gothic chapel, a green chamber boasting a collection of Gothic art, and lastly, a knight's drawing room. The fabled castle was built in the latter half of the 13th century on the orders of the Bohemian ruler Ottokar II. Once the castle was completed, was Ottokar aware of the dangers that lurked within the castle walls? Actually, no. Houska Castle was built to serve as an administrative center from which the extensive royal estates could be managed. Later it was passed on to the hands of the aristocracy, frequently passing from the ownership of one to another. Why did no one prefer to lay claim to the castle? Houska Castle was built in a strange location. The area was surrounded by forests, swamps, and mountains, and with no external fortifications. The castle was completely isolated as it sat at the edge of a steep rocky cliff. To make matters worse, there was no source of water except for a cistern to collect rainwater. Even more strange is that there are next to no amenities within the castle, not even a kitchen. Even more strange is why Ottokar settled for such a location. It is quite far from any of the trade routes of the time, and upon completion of the castle, there were no occupants. What did Ottokar II know about this isolated swampland? Tradition has it that this was the gateway to hell, and the Bohemians feared for their safety. Hence, Houska Castle was built to keep the demons of hell out of the land of the living. There may be more to the legend than meets the eye. The castle is essentially a chapel built over a deep hole. So deep was this hole that no one could see the bottom. What kinds of demons were believed to plague the local people? Legend has it that there were sightings of animal hybrid beasts that had crawled out of the gateway. There were also reports of dark-winged creatures and otherworldly demons flying about the vicinity. It seems that the hope of Ottokar II was to attempt to stop even more demons from infiltrating the land. Another tale makes claim that when the construction of Houska Castle first began, all prisoners who had been sentenced to death were offered a pardon if they consented to be lowered by rope into the hole and report back what they saw. When the first person was lowered, he began screaming only after a few seconds. Once he was pulled back to the surface, he looked as if he had aged 30 years. His face had been heavily wrinkled and his hair had turned completely white. Yet what did he report seeing? He could only ramble on incoherently while pleading not to being lowered back into the hole. During World War II, the Wehrmacht occupied the castle until 1945. It was said that during its occupation, the Nazis conducted many experiments into the occult. However, regardless of its devious past, in 1999, the castle was open to the public. Tourists may visit the chapel and can now see the fading murals and frescoes of the demonic creatures and animal-like beings. According to the Prague tourism website, the castle is reputed to have various types of ghosts and other creatures that have escaped from the lower levels of hell. This is why there are thick internal walls that face inward in an attempt to capture or keep the demons from hell at bay. What do you think? Is Houska Castle the gateway to hell, or just another local myth? This brings us to the end of Houska Castle, the gateway to hell. Please like and subscribe to Traveler's Tales, and don't forget to hit the little bell icon to be notified each time we post new videos. We greatly appreciate when you join and become a friend of the channel. Until we meet again at the crossroads of folklore and fact, Kartistos.